To those of you who have watched my videos for a while now, as well as for those of you who first encountered my videos thanks to She-Ra Season 5 or the Netflix release of Avatar, I welcome you. I'm a big fan of The Dragon Prince, a show not unlike Avatar, created by the man considered most responsible for Zuko's character arc. I love examining the characters and world of this show. This is going to be a video chiefly talking about that world, and although that world will hopefully be enhanced by future seasons and supplementary material that has thus far not been released, I think it is nonetheless important to examine what the show has done up till now. It's important to look at that world up to the start of Season 4. Elves and humans are distinctly separate from each other in this world, but that has not always been the case. The arrival of dark magic, which split the humans and elves, only came about around 2,000 years ago. With the rise of Alarion, a city where humans, struggling to survive amidst a dark world, invented this kind of magic, and because of it, they thrived. The human-hating soul Regem is not happy about this, and he swears to destroy the human city unless its inhabitants stop using dark magic. And they rightly refuse, for dark magic has brought them advances that would not have otherwise been imaginable. A human mage, Zyard, attacks Soul Regem, blinding him, but in response, Soul Regem does manage to destroy the city. There's a lot we do not know about this incident, although it is likely that Eryth, an enigmatic Star-Touch elf who serves as the series' foremost villain, was involved in some capacity. Maybe he helped Zyard, or maybe Zyard somehow became him. I don't know. At this point, we don't have that much information regarding Eryth, so I don't think it is worth speculating on this very much. After the era of Soul Regem, we have the era of Luna Tenebris. This name is interesting. If you're a classics nerd, you might know that in Latin, Tenebris is darkness, so the name literally translates to darkness of the moon, which is paradoxical. We obviously think of the moon as more of a beacon of light and peace than as a force of darkness and ambiguity. That name kind of draws you in. Anyway, there was a huge war between the humans and elves during this time, about 1,000 years before present day. It used to be that the humans lived on both sides of the continent, but because the humans lost, they were forced out of their homeland by Luna Tenebris. They were banished, and they're rightfully angry about this. I mean, I would be angry if me and my people were banished from a land where we had lived for 1,000 or more years. To the Moon Dragon, this was a peaceful choice, because the alternative was wiping humans out entirely. But that's kind of like claiming you're peaceful when you break someone's leg because you could have shot them in the head. It's not exactly a charitable decision. And the fact that the dragons have this kind of power in the first place is, if you're a human, something of a problem. Why do dragons, and by extension their allies, elves, get to be so much more naturally powerful than humans? The border between the elf lands and the human lands has hardly been peaceful, but things were substantially less blood-drenched going forward than they were in the past. 300 years before present day, Luna Tenebris stepped down or died or what have you, and Thunderavazandum assumed control of the world of the Dragon Prince. Like the dragons before him, Thunderavazandum was not a fan of humans, and he considered them intruders when they passed into Zadia, the land they were banished from. But the elves considered him a just king. They thought him fair, and the other dragons agreed. He's the one most responsible for the defeat of Eryth, although how exactly this happened we still do not know at this point. Did he become king because he was instrumental to the defeat of Eryth, or did he just defeat Eryth after becoming king, and this is why he's considered to be a just and righteous ruler by the elves and other dragons? Either way, the border largely stayed peaceful during Avazandum's reign, although bear in mind that peaceful does not necessarily mean just. Human society has never had the easiest time in the world of the Dragon Prince because they lack the natural magical capacities of elves, and they're thus very jealous. And the elves judge them for that jealousy. It was hunger that made the humans originally turn to dark magic, and it was hunger that convinced King Harrow, his closest advisor Viren, and Queen Sarai to venture into Xadia against the will of the dragons and elves to claim the heart of a magma titan and bring it back to their lands so that humans would not starve. Avazandum does not like this. He does not like to have his power and authority questioned, and he kills a large number of people in that cohort, including Harrow's wife, Queen Sarai. Their victory has come at great personal cost. Even though the humans succeeded in their immediate objective, the power of the elves and dragons has not been checked. They can still do whatever they want to humanity without facing consequences. Banish humanity from lands they've lived in for thousands of years? Doesn't matter. Kill the king's wife? It doesn't matter. Ironically, in their push to punish humans for using dark magic, the elves and dragons demonstrate to people like Viren why dark magic is necessary. It helps protect us, humans, from the more powerful elves. The fathers of our current protagonists did what generations before them could not, slaying the Archdragon and calling the entire order of the last 1,000 years into question. Sarai has died, but her death is avenged. Yes, it's true this goes against everything Sarai said she wanted while she was alive. Does that matter? Maybe, maybe not. But it's worth noting that Harrow was not making a level-headed, well-considered decision to strike against the dragons because they had spent too long lording their power over humanity. Rather, he was in grief, and he believed, wrongly, that revenge would ameliorate that grief. This just happened to be the same day that the egg that turns into Ozymandias was created, and Zubeia and Thunder Avazandum were so busy taking care of the egg that they did not notice the advances of the Archdragons would be murderers until it was too late. After they kill the father, Viren wants to kill the son too, and Harrow sees his point. What is to stop this young dragon, when grown, from taking revenge on the people who killed his father? That's not an entirely illogical piece of reasoning. I can very much see their point. And this kind of informs how the Dragon Prince treats the cycle of violence throughout its run. Has a more mature perspective on how, in these isolated cases, the violence does not seem unreasonable, but over a long period of time, the general pattern is that the violence just keeps perpetuating itself and there's no end. After being convinced by Rayla's parents, Viren does not destroy the egg, but this hardly matters as everyone believes he did destroy the egg, and this, as much as the death of Thunder Avazandum, is what sets the events of the show in motion. The world becomes significantly more dangerous than it once was, ironic considering that Viren, despite his many faults, was, I believe, sincere in wanting to bring a lasting peace to the human kingdoms. From my perspective, it looks like he genuinely wanted to stop the elves from having so much power and so much of the favorable land. He wanted to correct this injustice and inequality. Anyway, if you've watched the show, you know what happens after the death of Thunder Avazandum. Harrow is assassinated, and the war drums burn hotter with every passing day. Ezrin is chastised by the other human kingdoms for not wanting to go to war with Xadia, and although I sympathize with Ezrin and think he's a very sweet-hearted kid, I can see the point of the human kingdoms. The war has already begun. For a lot of elves, the war started with the death of the dragon Thunder Avazandum, and it's very hard to go back from that. How can you go back to peaceful days after so much bloodshed? And will this peace even help the humans? Or will it punish them and thus drive them to use more dark magic to stop their people from suffering and starving? It's a major issue, and it's one that I think the Dragon Prince is willing to grapple with. And it's the reason I'm such a fan of this show. It doesn't shy away from those darker and more murky issues. It's been said that an unjust peace is no peace at all, and only an equal and just peace that builds warm relations between elves and humans will last. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a heartfelt, funny, genuinely brave show that is only getting better with time, and I really hope it gets a 4th season. It really deserves it. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. I promise you that. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.